Storytelling with Kids. Hi, I'm Mark, and today we're going to talk about how to tell stories to children. How did you learn to read? Japanese, I mean. It was probably long before you went to school. It was probably sitting in mom's lap or dad reading to you, and then later your teachers reading to you. We all learn to read by being read to. And it's a very important part of children learning to read and learning to enjoy reading and enjoy learning. Okay, when you read to children, what's important? Can I ask you to turn off the video for just a minute or two and maybe make a list of 2, 3, 4 things that you think are important when you're reading to children. Turn off the video now, make your list, and turn it back on when you're ready. When I was first starting to be a teacher, I was a university student, and I was a volunteer at a preschool, kind of like a Huikuan or Youchien in America. And my teacher, the head teacher at the school said, "Mark, don't just read. Tell the story. Tell the story." And that's the best advice about reading I can give you. Okay? Now, in school, working with children, but also in your teacher training here at Miyagi Gakuin, we often use big books. And big books are just what they sound like. Books that are very big. And when you open them, they are even bigger. Really big, so lots of kids, 10, 15, 25 children, can see the picture and can see the words, because that's the first step in learning to read. Now, this big book is a very famous one. It's called Brown Bear, What Do You See? And we're going to work with it today. Of course, you won't have the big book now. You will whenever we come back to Miyagi Gakuin. But I've got some pictures that you can work with. Let's start with your voice. Key idea is use your voice. Yeah. Use your voice just like you were an actor. Okay? Now, many people think a teacher's voice means a loud voice. And yes, when you're teaching, you have to be heard. But when you're telling stories, sometimes you want a loud voice. But sometimes you actually want a softer voice to kind of pull the listener in, make them really pay attention. They want to hear every word. And your voice must show emotion. An emotion that matches the story, right? So if you're happy, your voice should sound happy, and you're excited, and your voice is light, and the children will feel happy too. But what if the character is angry? Then your voice should be angry too. Use emotion. Show emotion. Use your voice and use voices, right? I mean, for example, who's this little girl? Yeah, you know her as Akazokin-chan. In English, she's Little Red Riding Hood because she always wears a hoodie. Mine's purple, hers is always red. And what's Little Red Riding Hood's voice like? Well, I imagine it's kind of high and sweet and kind of like, "Oh, Grandma, what big eyes you have, Grandma." Yeah? And how about Grandma? What kind of voice does she have? Well, she probably sounds old. And she says, "The better to see you, my dear." And who else is in the story? The wolf. And what's the wolf's voice like? He says, "The better to eat you, my dear." And it sounds scary. And that's part of this story. Okay, what is this teacher forgetting? It's a very common situation, right? The children are on the floor, the teacher's in the middle reading the story. What's she forgetting? The kids can't see the book. Yeah? You hold up the book to let the children see. Okay? Now, let's play with voice. Okay? These are the first few pages of Brown Bear, What Do You See? And I imagine, okay, the storyteller on every page is going to say, Brown Bear, what do you see? And other animals. Brown Bear, what do you see? And what do I think a bear sounds like? "Oh, I see a red bird looking at me." Yeah. And then on the next page, we see the red bird. And red bird, what do you see? "I see a yellow duck looking at me." And we see the yellow duck. And yellow duck, what do you see? "Quack, quack, quack." "I see a blue horse looking at me." Quack. Yeah. Now I'm going to go back and give you about 10 seconds on each slide. Please read it out loud with feeling, with emotion, and change your voice. Ready, go. Okay, it's very important that you're not just reading, but you're connecting with the story, and you're connecting with the story and with the children and with the kids. You're getting them to feel part of the story. You want them excited. One thing that's very important for that is eye contact. And I mean strong eye contact. You're really looking at the children, right? Look at the book long enough to read the words, to see the words, but when you're reading, actually look at the children. So let's go back to those slides again, and let's try remember these three things. Read with emotion, change your voice, use different voices, and make eye contact. So you're going to see the screen, but I'd like you to imagine that there's a room full of children in front of you. That's where you're looking when you actually speak. So again, let's take about 10 seconds for each slide. Okay, emotion, change your voice, look at the children. Okay, so that was our practice time. This slide says, work with a partner, get a big book. When you're at school, I hope soon, we'll actually do this using real big books, and you'll be working with a partner. But we can't right now, but we can practice. Okay, some techniques. These are specific things you can do. These help the children pay attention to the words they're saying, the words they're hearing, the words they're seeing. Okay? Simple technique is stop. You're reading, and then you just stop and get the children to say the next word. So I'd like you to pretend you're one of the children now. I'll start the next page. I'll say it, and when I stop, you say the next words. Blue horse, what do you see? I see a green frog looking at me. Okay? So, stopping so they say the next words. This helps them. In many children's books, we have the same sentences many, many times. This helps them start to learn them. Okay? Another good technique is to ask questions. Yeah? What's this? What color is that? What's nani nani in English? Okay? So on the next page, I show you this picture, and what's this animal? Yeah? And will this kid say it's a frog? No. They'll say kairu da. Right? He said, okay. How do you say kairu in English? Frog. Yeah. What color is the frog? Yeah, he's green. But I don't know if you can see it on your device. What color is his eyes? Blue. I don't know if frogs really have blue eyes, but okay. Ask many questions. It gets the kids interacting. Okay? And make some mistakes, because the kids love to catch your mistakes. They love to correct you. Okay, and we make sure they're thinking. Okay, so if I say purple mouse, oh yeah, not a mouse. Okay, and you would say no, cat, purple cat. Okay, purple cat. What do you see? I see a white dog walking toward me. Not walking. Looking at me. Okay, so make mistakes. Okay, and have kids notice things, right? Who can find the letter F? What's this word? Who can find dog? Okay. So let's look at the next slide. Please do those things. Okay, I might say, who can find W? And you saw for white, but did you also see it for what? Okay. What color? Green dog. Okay. So let's remember all of these techniques. Stop, ask questions, make mistakes, and have kids notice words. Take a minute. Please do all 4 of those things with this picture. Okay, now I wish we were actually all together and we would do group work where you and your partner would practice with one book, and then you would join and read it to another partner. We'll have to save that for later. But what I'd like you to do instead, and this is practice on your own, but it's very important because basically practice is how you become a teacher. You become a teacher by doing teacher things. So I'd like you to go to the website ahone.jp. Okay, please write down this URL. You'll need it. Okay, and when you go there, you'll see many languages. You got Chinese, Japanese, Spanish, Norwegian, yeah? And then on the second line, you have English. Please click on English. Now, most of the books on this site are Japanese stories, so you know many of them already. There are a few from other countries, but there are many Japanese stories. So click on English right there, and you will see pictures from many stories. And many of them you will know right away. I see a picture of a beautiful woman and the moon. So that must be Ka-Guya-Hime, right? And I see a crab and a monkey. So I know what that is. And many of these are famous Japanese stories. So either click on the one you want, or if instead of pictures, you can go for the titles, for the names of the stories, and see. Some of you will know right away, Ka-Guya-Hime. Others you might not be sure, but click on the one that looks interesting. And when you see the picture, remember this is ahone.jp, the picture books. Okay, and here's the practice part. Choose a story, click on the link. Okay? Then read the story in English. And you're reading it first in English just so you, number one, you remember the story, because many of these stories you haven't heard in 15 years. Read the story in English, and then practice reading it like in this lesson. If you downloaded the handout, look at that. Remember all the techniques: voice, eye contact, emotion, stopping children say the next word, ask questions about the picture, make mistakes, have the kids know who can find the letter, why, what's this in English, okay? Please practice like you were really reading for children. And please do that with at least 2 stories, okay? And if you're sitting at home a lot and getting bored, do it with more. Do it with a few. It's very good practice for you as a teacher. And then please, which stories did you do? Send your teacher an email telling which stories. Last thought. Number 1, have fun. Reading is fun. And we want to convince students convince the children that this is something they can enjoy. And because if you have fun, the kids will have fun too. And that's what we're trying to do. Thank you very much. Stay healthy. Good luck with this.